Alright guys, Sedgwick here back again today, and yesterday Kroenke CDL Intel put out a list of all the rosters that he thinks are pretty much going to be set in stone. There's 8 of them so far. We have 12 teams in the CDL, so 8 teams which are very likely to be true. Today I wanted to focus in on the Dallas squad. We'll go into what the rumoured team of that is in a second, but I'm hearing behind the scenes that a few of these players have already signed contracts. Dallas CoD did a tweet, I think yesterday, saying that next week they're going to start doing these announcements, so I'm guessing that means this coming week. Does it mean the week after? Who exactly knows? But anyway, in the next few days we should be getting some more announcements, and I think Dallas will be one of them. So we'll go into the rumour today, and I think it's a very interesting one. As I'm hearing, a few of these players have already signed behind the scenes, so it seems to be set in stone. So yeah, like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. In coming days, I'll probably do a video on which team has kind of won Rostermania, or at least for the rumours we see right now, and then I'll probably do another one of those when all the confirmations come out in a couple of months' time. Who knows how long it's going to take, but within the next couple of weeks, we should be getting quite a lot of confirmations, I would suggest. So firstly, before we get into things, a lot of stuff to talk about regarding players that aren't getting on teams and are having difficult times. So we'll run through a load of those first thing. Also, there was this drama yesterday on Twitter. Assault took a little bit of a dig at London and Scraps with their announcement video. If you didn't see that in yesterday's video, you can check it out. Really hilarious, tragic stuff. And Scraps does, he fires back a little bit, and they have a little bit of a back and forth. And I wonder which side you guys put on this one. And basically, Silly's like, well, I'm a world championship winner, and yeah. Silly, guy just tried to roast me for winning champs, can't make it up. Roast, I said congrats, that was a minute ago as well. Focus on not placing last for another year as well. I wasn't placing last because of me. You and my wife have the same amount of chips, you better get to work. So a little bit of spicy drama to start off the video. I love stuff like this because it means that next year all the rivalries we can get is what we need, because we know how the Overwatch League works now. Activision runs things. It's much more, I guess, PC, and there's less drama and things going on. As of yet, we haven't seen any of that really take shape on Twitter. People still piping off left, right and centre. Hopefully that can continue when the league starts, but I doubt it. So any rivalries and dramas that we can talk up in a few months' time that are happening now, I'm welcome to, because otherwise when the league actually starts, it's going to be, I don't think we're going to be seeing as much of this stuff on Twitter, because players' tweets are representative of like the league itself, and you can't talk trash on like any other players or something in the Overwatch League. Hopefully that's not the case in CoD, but because that's really the life and soul of things. But anyway, moving onwards here. So Hitch ride with this tweet here. What the hell am I meant to do with all these OpTic shirts? Kenny says, give them to me. Thanks to MV and Sheet for pointing this out to me. And of course, the rumoured team, LA OpTic Immortals team, is Kenny / TJ, Dashi, and JCap. So maybe that implies that something's going on there. This is another thing that someone pointed out to me yesterday. Apologies that I don't remember exactly who it was, but this is a tweet that came out from Crimsix. This is what we're going to talk about in a few minutes time, because Crim is rumoured to have already been signed onto this Dallas team. Thinking about the next chapter, a different team, fully motivated and then some to be the best. Prove everyone wrong, prove yourself right. So this is exciting stuff, and of course based up here in Dallas, Texas. So definitely heavily implying what is to come. Ricky says the following: I'll never understand how I pulled this off last year. I don't know if you guys remember this clip last year of when Ricky clutched this insane 1v2. This was Anaheim, right, I think. I remember watching this backstage. It was just unbelievable scenes when Ricky was the coach coming into the team, because, of course, Gunless had benched himself, or I think been benched. Yeah, he was benched by Luminosity, and he had this impossible 1v2 with 10 seconds left, and basically UIU threw it away, but still it was... oh my god, that is just unbelievable. Anyway, he says it's looking slow for a coaching spot next year, so maybe he'll have to bring it back one time. Classic says the following as well, also on that team, of course. I've won an event 3 out of the last 4 games. I don't know how I'm not on a team. Of course, he did win an event earlier this season as well in Black Ops 4 at Fort Worth. So, that was the Rampart. But regardless, so it seems like Classic struggling to get on the team. Tommy says a similar thing. This is why some people were talking about him in association with the London spot. I didn't really see it too likely, and as it says here, I'm still looking for a starting spot, but open to other offers if there's nothing there. Still feel I can bring a lot to a team, and I think Wuskin tweeted out how London already has their 5-man set in stone, and also their 2 substitutes. He said a very interesting thing on Spitfire, if you guys haven't seen it. He said effectively that London, he was like a day away from signing with another team, like with his brother, somewhere in the States, and then someone came along and they said, yo, London's got a spot, like, it's time to sign you up. And if that had happened like a day later, then Wuskin and Scraps would have been signed elsewhere, and Dylan as well. but they switched it up. I think that was probably on Activision's end, because Cloud9, of course, were interested a little bit in the London spot, and they have the spot in the Overwatch League, and I think maybe Activision were holding out hope that Cloud9 would purchase the London spot. Given they knew that wasn't to be the case, they decided to let someone else purchase it, and that's why it was all a bit last minute. But it doesn't seem like Tommy's going to be on that team, at least on the starting roster. And here we go then, related to, once again, this Chicago spot. Scump and Formal supposed to be reuniting. Scump says, do you remember, as in implying the first line of the song September, 21st of September was yesterday, but Formal goes a different route with it. I sure do, and Kroenke see a bit of intel, implying that there's something going on here, of course. Now, thanks to all of you guys, 3 of you, I'll go through all of you, who pointed this out to me yesterday, the team that they were playing with in the beta yesterday. So Formal, Envoy, Arcetes and Gunless were all playing yesterday in the beta, and a lot of you guys pointed this out to me, so here's this image here. Straight Beeman says the following as well, so this is the actual image. Gunless, Arcetes, Envoy and Formal, of course, and same thing from Darren here, so basic confirmation, basically confirming Envoy, Formal, Gunless, Arcetes are going to be a team alongside Scump for the upcoming season, which would be really crazy stuff. Just to go over this is an article yesterday, an interview with, I believe, Andy Miller from NRG, and of course they own the Chicago spot. So will there be a central headquarters for the CoD team? This came together very quickly, so we don't have plans for a fully fleshed out area. I'll leave this link down below if you'd like to read the entire interview, because it's all really very interesting stuff. These are rabid great fans out there. Rabid is an interesting word to use. Hex and his crew have a deep history living in Chicago with the OpTic house, so we thought Chicago would be a great place to plant our flag. In terms of CoD, are you looking to build a roster that NRG and OpTic gaming fans will love? Yes, I think that everyone who loves Call of Duty will love our roster. Now, of course, it is rumoured to be Scump, Formal, Gunless, Arcetes and Envoy that we just looked at. We are not done at all. We are getting there, but it's going to be really good. It's going to be fun and exciting. It's going to be a roster with superstars in it, but it'll also be one like SF Shock, where we build for the future, maybe implying like Envoy and some of these, you know, the younger guy on that team, right? So we'll have a team with guys who can really grow with us. Interesting stuff. And yeah, interesting interview. I'll leave that link down below for you guys. So here are the rumours to look through. Atlanta, we talked about this for a long time. Simp, Abizi, Priestep, Maniac, and Celium. Chicago, Scump, Formal, Gunless, Arcetes, Envoy. Dallas, this is one we want to get into. I'll come back to that in a second. Florida, Morks, Skies, Frosty, Pristini, and Havoc. London, Wuskin, Scraps, Jerd, and Dylan, Jerd, and Rated. So these are the only confirmations we have so far. These 3 on London, Wuskin, Straps, Dylan, and on, which other team am I looking at? Minnesota, which is on the next team. They have GodRx, Silly, and Assault, which we'll have a look at in a second. But interestingly, on London here, we have Jerd and Rated, rumoured. Now, like, it seems like Kroenke is pretty confident on Jerd, and I am pretty confident on Rated, but I'm not so confident on Jerd. He doesn't seem so confident on Rated, so maybe that's that implies that this is going to be the squad. Interesting team for sure. The LA Immortals team, which we just chatted about a second ago, TJ, Dashi, Slasher, Kenny, and Cap. To me, this might be the most deadly team right now. We'll have to see, and I'll probably discuss that in the coming days. New York, Accuracy, Temper, Touch, Zoomer, and Zero. Now, Kroenke replied to this tweet he did about this stuff. I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to have a look at it. Basically saying that he's really confident in these squads. It would only a couple of players might be changing out here. And Seattle, Octane, Enable, Slacks, Karma, and Apathy. Sorry if you can't see that all the way down there at the bottom. Just to come back in a second then to the Dallas team, but Florida, that's the same thing that's already rumoured. You know, not 100% on Rated, but I think he's there. I know Alex is not on the team. The other LA team, I believe this is where Aches and Decimate are, since they didn't end up going to Minnesota. Difficult to say. This might be the franchise Senta keeps saying he's with. So interesting. Senta has said he's with the franchise, or at least he's had some offers. But, well, we don't know anything else about Paris, so possibly Senta's on the team. And then Toronto's still the same. A lot of players related here. Don't know who else they'll get, or who's official, or who's starting or not. Minnesota, GodRx, Silly, and Assault. So we had a chat about that yesterday. Let's go into this Dallas team then. So Hook, of course, has been with Envy for a long time. He's pretty much their golden child. And it's honestly crazy stuff. I can't see him leaving. I feel like I think someone was pointing out to me a couple of days ago that Toronto are the only team that still follows him. But of course, he was with Splyce the other half of the season. Splyce owned the Toronto spot. Maybe that's the reason why. I would imagine he's staying with Envy. It wouldn't really make any sense for him to go elsewhere. So assuming he's on the team, apparently he wants to play with Ilya and Shotzi. And this could be really, really deadly. Like, I really have high hopes for this squad. And I feel like it could be the one that gets Hook his first chip. It's certainly possible because we've got Hook, Illy, and Shotzi, some of the most cracked out players ever. Shotzi, of course, is a former Halo World Champion. If you guys aren't aware of him, he didn't get an opportunity to play in the last season, but he impressed a lot of people. His movement is filthy. Of course, Illy has been a guy we're talking about as an SMG star for absolutely years up to this point. Pairing them with Hook would be, on paper, just a deadly trio. But of course, alongside that kind of deadly trio, you need veteran players that are going to be able to guide these guys. Clayster, historically, has been one of the best ever at doing that. Think of the team he just came off of, that E-United squad with Sypien and Beezy on it. He really taught these guys the ropes and got them to a good position. And Crimsix is a guy that really hasn't had the opportunity to do that because he's been stuck. Not necessarily stuck, of course. He's won many a championship on the OpTic gaming team, but you know, so many rivalries here to talk about as well. In terms of the roles, Clay and Crimsix on the ARs, Hook, Illy, and Shotzi playing more fast-paced makes so much sense. I feel like Clay and Crim could butt heads a little bit, but hopefully they use it to sharpen up their game rather than to blow the team apart. I don't think that Hook, Illy, and Shotzi should be too difficult of players to control and deal with. I think there's surely a lot of respect from those guys to Clayster and Crimsix, who are undoubtedly top 10 players of all time, and Crimsix, of course, much higher than that. Clayster maybe around the top 6 mark or top 5 mark or something like that, depending on how you want to do it. So, of course, legendary veteran players, and I'm sure this team honestly makes a lot of sense on paper. I really like the look of it. Of course, there are some risks here because Shotzi, a guy, and Illy as well, who've not played Respawn ever competitively, at least in a CWL setting, of course. They're only just turning 18 or, pretty much being old enough to play. So it's honestly crazy scenes. I think it might take a little bit of time for this roster to click and get together. We also have to talk about some storylines here because if Dallas versus LA isn't the actual teams, Clayster versus JCap is a pretty big rivalry given the United situation last season when Cap got dropped. And then, of course, we've got Crimsix versus TJ and Dashy, the guys that supposedly gave Scump that ultimatum to force him out of the team effectively. So that could be a crazy rivalry. I feel like Crimsix doesn't belong on a team that's, full of heroes. He should be on a team that's more of a, not necessarily an underdog, but kind of a team that can spice things up and create some fun rivalries. So that's what I'm looking forward to with this squad. Just to finish off, then, I thought I'd go through this from round 11 stats. Really interesting related to the Chicago roster. Just talking about how good these players are individually, especially in the Respawn throughout the Black Ops 4 season. So, these ranks are just incredible. I think round 11 stats has been doing these for some other players as well, and that's really cool stuff. So, yes, if this team isn't filthy in Respawn, it would be very surprising. Look at these performances in the hardpoint. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you next time.